This is looking to be a very explosive fight. One that you definitely don't want to miss out on.
So what would the result be?
The prediction is will not last 12 rounds, I think.
Some nice ones. Thank you. He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely.
At the intense kickoff press conference for his upcoming match, boxing icon Manny Pacquiao stirred up the room with a powerful and pointed message directed at his next challenger, Mario Barrios. The legendary 8-division champion, renowned for both his lightning-fast reflexes and grounded personality, broke from his typically composed presence to deliver a stern warning. With the atmosphere crackling under media flashes and rising anticipation, Pacquiao left no doubt. This bout goes beyond the ring. It's deeply personal. His fiery resolve set the tone, and for anyone thinking he's past his prime, Pacquiao's fiery demeanor said otherwise.
Okay, how's it going?
All right, good. Everything's good.
All right, so
weekend. Good, sir, man.
for a long time we talked about Manny Pacquiao coming back, Justin. For a long time we talked about him fighting. Now it's real. It's happening. Him and Mario Barrios. Break it down.
Yeah, Barrios is champion, so it's a good fight.
WBC champ.
Don't count Pacquiao. Everyone's counting Pacquiao out because of his age. It's like a bunch of haters, man. He still has tons of power, tons of speed, and a shitload of experience.
If Manny wins, would it shock you or no?
No.
But it would shock the whole world.
We'll shock the world, but if he wins at his age, yeah, I mean, but, it's not. Listen, he's 45, 46.
He live in jail.
45, 46, but he's not. He's always active. He's always staying active. He's always doing something. Mostly playing basketball, some sort of sport. Something cardio. So no, not really.
When Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor, he said, "I'm not surprised." So Manny could say that after he beats Barrios, that he wasn't surprised that he's supposed to win.
Well, yeah. Diaz beat. I mean, different Diaz. I like this.
Manny Pacquiao's comeback to the boxing scene after a 4-year break is making major headlines, especially after his fiery press conference where he delivered a strong message to WBC welterweight title holder Mario Barrios. The 46-year-old icon, celebrated for his lightning speed and knockout power, is scheduled to take on the 29-year-old Barrios on July 19, 2025, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas.
It's a very contentious subject, people moaning about Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that he's been inactive for quite a long time. Like we were talking about fighting him with Conor Benn maybe 6 months ago or a year. And every month or 3 months or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, I guess there's two questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside of the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title? I guess that's another question. In the commercial world of boxing, the answer is yeah, probably. In the ratings world and activity world, the answer is probably not.
Do you think it's strange that he's coming off the couch and getting a title fight like that?
I think when you've achieved what he's achieved, you've always got the right to do things a little bit differently to others. And with all due respect, Barrios is not Boots and Barrios is not Crawford, and that's why, we pushed the Conor Benn fight. Conor Benn, his best win is against Algieri or Van Heerden. So actually Pacquiao is a step up, and people were still complaining at me for mentioning that fight. Like Conor Benn is Boots, but he still hasn't had those wins yet.
Pacquiao is back in the gym, training once, again under the watchful eye of his longtime mentor, Freddie Roach. While questions linger about his age and time away from the sport, early training footage reveals flashes of the speed and sharpness that defined his prime. Still, not everyone is convinced. Some fans and analysts question whether he can truly perform at the elite level after such an extended break from the ring.
Morning.
They always do that.
Yeah, I think you're going home to the Mexico. No, no.
Recent clips from Los Angeles show Pacquiao speaking with the calm confidence of a man unafraid of what's ahead. Reflecting on the responsibilities of being a public figure and the lessons he's taken from past losses, his message was serious yet hopeful. Physically, he looked sharp, alert, fast on the pads, and moving with the agility of a fighter still chasing greatness. His training intensity suggests a man not just preparing for another bout, but seeking redemption. Despite the buzz, the decision to greenlight the fight hasn't come without backlash. Critics argue that Pacquiao's age and years away from the ring should disqualify him from a title opportunity. His WBC welterweight ranking at number 5 has also sparked debate, with some questioning the criteria behind the ranking and the safety implications of matching him against a younger, active champion like Barrios.
I'm hearing things here. Manny Pacquiao aiming for a shock return to the ring, age 46, Josh.
Yeah, I read something about that, man. It's, that guy's my hero, I named my dog after him and stuff like that, so, but he's touching 50 years old. I think, he should leave it where it is, but, obviously, if you get a chance to share a ring with Manny Pacquiao, nobody's going to say no,
Trainer Greg Hackett didn't hold back when offering his take on Manny Pacquiao's surprising return to the ring to face Mario Barrios. Speaking candidly, Hackett remarked that if this fight had happened years ago, Pacquiao would have likely overwhelmed Barrios with ease. But in his view, the situation today is very different. Hackett believes the Pacquiao stepping into the ring now is no longer the same explosive, high-energy force who once ruled the sport. At 45, he argues, it's unrealistic to expect the same speed, endurance, or ferocity from the Filipino legend. In Hackett's opinion, this bout is less about competitive sport and more about financial gain. He characterized it as more of a spectacle than a true battle between two fighters at the peak of their powers.
Hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might run and beat Pacquiao up. I mean, not knock him out, but, beat him on the cards, beat him behind that jab.
Similar to like the Ugas fight?
Yeah, it's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back, and he want to come back with a bang, so, why not? If he can make it happen, make it happen. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fighter, I would love to have a Pacquiao on the record. I would love something like that. And that's a fight you got to get ready for.
It's a fight that boxing fans are going to criticize you for.
Yeah.
But the reality is Manny Pacquiao has a diehard fan base that you're going to make money with that fight.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to see other fights at 47. You Stanionis, you Boots, you Brian Norman.
Yeah, but you want to steal as much as you can steal. You know what I mean? Because again, this shit is not forever. Just like anything else, it's going to end. So you want to make some money and you want to do great things.
Former champion Tim Bradley voiced similar reservations, suggesting that Pacquiao's return to the ring may be driven more by financial incentives than a quest for legacy. According to Bradley, a comeback after retirement often points to the need for a big payday, regardless of what's at stake, title or not. While the WBC belt is technically on the line, he implied that the money is the true motivator behind this matchup. Bradley also highlighted the dynamic contrast between the two fighters, with Mario Barrios representing youth, activity, and upward momentum. In his view, Barrios might have what it takes not just to challenge Pacquiao, but to potentially end the fight decisively. This, Bradley suggested, raises tough questions about whether Pacquiao should even be stepping back into the ring.
Pacquiao getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, it has to be pertaining to any kind of money. It has to be financial. Any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money. One, two. I think Manny Pacquiao, his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring, man, against Ugas. He didn't look good. He was outmatched by, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, bigger fighter, knows how to, control distance very well, can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quits. That Ugas fight, I don't know if it was enough for Pacquiao. That's why he's coming back. But Barrios, he can he can finish Pacquiao. There's a possibility that he can finish Pacquiao and basically cause him to go back into retirement once again. But again, what they say, the last thing that leaves is the power. If Manny got any of that power still left in him, if he lands that left hand, he can hurt the young gun. But that's easier said than done.
In contrast, Oscar De La Hoya has expressed strong support for Manny Pacquiao's comeback, showing faith in the veteran fighter's abilities despite his age. While recognizing that Pacquiao is now in his mid-40s, De La Hoya believes the former champion still possesses the grit, skill, and fighting spirit needed to compete with younger contenders like Mario Barrios. He praised Pacquiao's legendary career and emphasized that a boxer with such deep experience should never be counted out. For De La Hoya, the narrative isn't about age, it's about what Pacquiao still brings to the ring.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him. Can he do it? Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao's Oscar needs. He's a legend. Some nice ones. Thank you. He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it. Yeah.
Despite the doubts surrounding the matchup, Mario Barrios has maintained a composed and confident demeanor. In pre-fight interviews, Barrios expressed respect for Pacquiao's legacy, but made it clear he's not daunted by the challenge. He intends to stay disciplined, relying on his youth, range, and tactical approach to keep the pressure on throughout the fight. Barrios isn't viewing this as just another payday. For him, it's a career-defining moment. Securing a win over a legend like Pacquiao would be a major milestone and a statement victory on his record.
When you see the Manny Pacquiao fight, what can you learn from that fight?
It showed that, combination punchers, that's how Pacquiao, was landing, his punches, combinations. And, it just showed you that, he is a great fighter, but, I'm going into this camp, into this fight confident, everything right with our game plan. And I'm going to try to execute it as best as I can.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas has voiced doubts about Mario Barrios' supposed size advantage heading into his clash with Manny Pacquiao. While Barrios may appear to have the edge in height and reach, Atlas questions how much of an actual benefit that will be in the ring. He pointed out that Barrios only recently moved up to welterweight after struggling to make the 140-pound limit, suggesting his size might not be as impactful as it seems. Barrios has admitted that staying at junior welterweight became too difficult, which led to his transition. But Atlas believes that despite Barrios' physical stats, the difference may not be significant enough to tip the fight heavily in his favor. This perspective hints at a potentially more evenly matched contest than many initially expected, a battle between a seasoned legend and a hungry younger fighter. Pacquiao's return has already sent ripples through the boxing world, with his retirement dating back to 2021. And years of inactivity behind him. Fans and analysts alike are still coming to terms with the unexpected announcement.
Not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight. And of course, we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first turned pro. You would have thought maybe he could have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean he was
108 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. Yeah, you would have had Petter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. Look what he did to this horse. But look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever. Incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active, you know, who I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy, but you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than when he fought him a little bit, than when Pacquiao fought him, and maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight.
Mauricio Suleiman, president of the WBC, has confirmed that all necessary approvals are in place for Pacquiao to compete for the welterweight title. There's growing speculation that the upcoming fight against Mario Barrios is just a stepping stone for Pacquiao. Many insiders suggest that a victory over Barrios could lead to a major showdown, with Gervonta Tank Davis. Fans and experts are debating whether Barrios was chosen as a more manageable opponent, giving Pacquiao an opportunity to regain momentum and build hype for what could be his final high-profile bout. The prevailing thought is that this fight might not represent Pacquiao's ultimate test, but is instead a calculated move to set up a career-defining encounter with Davis.
The WBC president Mauricio Suleiman has said Mario Barrios will face Manny Pacquiao this July. That's some crazy shit, bro. That's some crazy news. Manny Pacquiao is 46 years of age. He's making his return to the ring. And he said he wants to go out with a bang. He wants to finish his career as a champion. That's some crazy shit. Manny Pacquiao's professional record currently stands at 62 wins. 39 of those coming via knockout, 8 losses and 2 draws. Manny Pacquiao has one of the most impressive CVs in the sport of boxing. Just take a look at from 09, Ricky Hatton, all the way up until here. There's so many names: Timothy Bradley, Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Joshua Cloteley, Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Jesse Vargas. Like, there's so many names on this list. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a look at Mario Barrios' record. 29 wins, 18 of those coming via knockout, 2 losses and 1 draw on his resume. What do I make of this fight? I don't know, you know. I mean, listen, this is a young man's sport. I ask myself, Manny Pacquiao, why do you want to come back and fight a younger fighter? You know what I mean? Mario Barrios, who is the current champion, the WBC champion. Why? What have you got to prove? You've proven everything throughout your career. So I don't know what to say. But anyways, let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and watch a clip of the president of WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, talk about this.
As of now, Mario Barrios is the WBC champion. So who is he mandated to fight next? Do you have made that decision yet?
Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July. He wants to retire as WBC champion, so he's fighting in the welterweight division.
Why does he come out of retirement and get a WBC title shot in his first fight?
Because it's something that WBC has respected. Sugar Ray Leonard was retired 4 years when he requested to fight Marvin Hagler and defeated Hagler. So we do have that provision in the rules. A legendary champion with the credentials such as Manny Pacquiao. He has been medically cleared, licensed by Nevada, so we have voted in favor to allow that fight to happen.
Should Pacquiao overcome Barrios, a clash with Gervonta Davis could quickly become one of the most eagerly awaited bouts in recent memory. Both southpaws bring explosive power and huge fan followings, promising a matchup that would captivate audiences worldwide. Pacquiao's return carries a strong sense of nostalgia. He's aiming for the same WBC title that first launched him onto the global stage years ago. Back then, he captured his inaugural world championship at flyweight. Now, he hopes to close out his storied career as the WBC welterweight champion. A true full-circle moment. For Pacquiao, this isn't merely about adding another belt to his collection. The fight feels deeply personal. It's about reconnecting with the origins of his legendary journey. His motivation appears fueled as much by reflection and emotion as by the competitive spirit that defined his career.
Boxing Doctor News told Onto Your Gloves, boxing fans, the rumors are true. Manny Pacquiao is stepping back into the ring. At 46 years old, the Filipino legend is taking on WBC welterweight champ Mario Barrios this July. But here's the kicker. Pacquiao's first world title was as a flyweight, and now he wants to retire as the WBC welterweight champ. Talk about a career comeback, but can the Pac-Man turn back time? He hasn't been in top form lately, while Barrios is coming off a tough draw. Will Pacquiao's experience triumph over youth, or is this one fight too far? Either way, July is shaping up to be an explosive month for boxing. Pacquiao's rolling the dice one last time. Will he make history as the oldest welterweight champ ever? Get ready for a showdown that'll have you on the edge of your seat.
Fans and analysts are comparing Pacquiao's comeback to George Foreman's remarkable feat of reclaiming a world title at 46 years old. While such achievements are uncommon in boxing, they are not out of reach. Many feel that Pacquiao, with his unstoppable drive and iconic legacy, could follow in Foreman's footsteps. This upcoming fight has evolved into a powerful story about overcoming age and surpassing expectations.
So Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title is being targeted for late July in either San Antonio or Las Vegas on Amazon Prime. And Pacquiao is currently in a Senate campaign in the Philippines in May, but after that he wants to return in the summer for a world title and try to break his own record as the oldest welterweight champion at 46 years old. Now I have every issue in the world with this. Manny Pacquiao, he's my favorite fighter of all time, but this is just not great for boxing. Pacquiao's last fight was 4 years ago in 2021 against Yordenis Ugas, and in that fight he looked a lot slower, not as explosive, and he got outboxed. And then last year when he was targeting the Barrios fight, he had an exhibition against a kickboxer, Rukia Anpo first, and he looked even slower and even more hittable in that fight. I don't think Pacquiao should be sanctioned to fight a world title fight at 46 years old, and not that Barrios is some scary knockout artist or a pound-for-pound level talent. If there's one champ at 147 that Pacquiao could upset, it would be Barrios. But in all likelihood, Barrios being the younger, bigger guy, he's just going to beat Manny for 12 rounds, probably stop him late. So I just don't want to see the fight. Pacquiao's accomplished everything in the sport. He really doesn't need another fight at 46.
Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring has sparked renewed excitement and lively discussion among boxing fans and experts alike. At 46 years old, and after a 4-year break, Pacquiao is back with the goal of reclaiming the title that originally catapulted him to stardom. This fight sets his vast experience against Barrios' youthful energy, while also prompting deeper conversations about legacy, motivation, and the changing landscape of boxing.
Mentioned a lot of people are asking what's going on. Are the rumors true? Is it possibly Spence? Is it Pacquiao? Who is Mario Barrios sharing the ring with next?
You know what? He's put himself in a great position through hard work. He's a tremendous story when he turned pro and what he's been able to accomplish being a 2-time world champion. And I always told everybody, he fights all comers. When we fought Gervonta Davis, all my hats off to Gervonta Davis. But it was very difficult for us to make the weight. We were going to move up in weight. They presented us, with this opportunity, and he said, you know what, I'll bite down for it one more time. And then from there, obviously we had a tough loss, but it was a competitive fight. And his first fight at 147 pounds, he goes on and takes on Keith Thurman. No tune-ups, no getting used to the thing. Goes at that point is about as good as you can get in the division and took on that. So he takes on all comers, all challenges. His first world title against Batirov, the Russian, is about as tough as you could have done at the time. And so I think he's earned the right now to be in the biggest, best possible fights. And now it's going to be up to Al Heyman and Louis DeCubas Jr. on what they see is best and fit for his career, whether that's, Pacquiao, Spence, if that's a unification with Boots Ennis.
What do you think? Will Pacquiao's confidence carry him to victory? Or is Barrios ready to successfully defend his title? Share your thoughts and join the discussion in the comments below.